welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and today we're in the kitchen and I dug out the cranberry pulp and everything that I had when I made that cranberry juice, and I told myself back then I needed to keep it because I was going to use it for something. I just wasn't quite sure what I was going to use it for. Well, I figured it out. I pulled it out of the freezer. It's thawed out, and I am going to mix that with some sugar and some fruit pectin, and I am going to make some fruit leather. And it's simple, very simple. I think for every 4 cups of cranberry, I'm going to use 1 cup of sugar. I'm not sure how many cups I actually have, but it's going to go into a pot. I'm going to heat it up, mix the sugar in, make sure that it is a paste. I don't want it watery, but I want it to be thick. I'm going to lay it onto some parchment paper, put it in the oven at 175 degrees for about an hour, and hopefully we're going to end up with some fruit leather. So let's check that out. I am going to do an extra step that I don't necessarily have to do because I'm going to measure a little bit to some degree. I'm going to put all of this cranberry into this 4-cup measuring cup because I want to see how much of it I have. Let's say that's 4 cups. And I'm gonna call it 8 cups. Let's see what we got here at the bottom. A little bit, yep. We're just gonna call this 8 cups. Close enough. I don't have to measure completely. There we go. 8 cups. Alright, so I'm looking on the instructions for this fruit pectin, and it states, and we're just going to use, because they don't actually have cranberry as listed, it says for every 4 cups of fruit you add 1 box of pectin, which is really good because I actually have 2 boxes, so that means I'm going to use both boxes. But it says add 5 cups of sugar for every 4 cups. I'm not going to do that. That would be 10 cups of sugar. That's a lot of freaking sugar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start heating this up, get it to where I want it. I'll put the 2 cups in. I will taste it, and if I need to add more, I'll just add to flavor, and then I'll put in the two containers of pectin, and we'll continue with that. So let's turn this heat on. We'll start it out high, but I want to turn it down. I don't want it to get all burnt and everything, so we'll just go ahead and start it. I'm going to start it at about 7, and we're going to let it heat up, and I'll get right back with you. And there we go. It started bubbling. I was a little nervous about it burning, so I added a little bit of water to it just so that it wouldn't burn. I am going to have to get that heated off, but that's okay. Now, as you can see, it is actually kind of chunky. Woo! Look at that. It is kind of chunky, but I want it to be chunky. Oh, that's interesting. There we go. Get it nice and heated throughout. Keep it stirring, and I'll smush on it a little bit. I want to make sure I continually stir this because I don't want it sticking. Let me give a... There we go. Oh, yes, very tart. So let's go ahead and add the 2 cups of sugar. See if that takes down any of the tartness. Oh, wow. That really worked. Holy cow. I think that's perfect. Let's add the... if I would have went according to that jam slash jelly recipe on the in that pectin, it would have been so sweet and I probably wouldn't have been able to deal with it. I think this is perfect. Let me, one more time. Wow. I personally think that kind of has a cherry taste to it. I'm going to have Michelle taste this and let's see what she thinks. Okay, so I took it in there and let her taste it, and she agrees with me. It tastes like cherry, and she says it's really good. So this is not cherry. These are actually cranberries, and they were really tart because I tasted them before I put the sugar in there. And once I put the 2 cups of sugar into the pulp of these cranberries, they really do taste just like cherries. I don't know if anyone else has ever had that to deal with. Anyway, I'm going to continue to stir this. Now I'm going to add these 2 packs of pectin. There's one. Get that all mixed up in there. This should give it a flexibility that without the pectin would it would make the leather kind of hard and brittle and tough. This pectin is supposed to stop that from happening, and we'll see when the final product is done whether or not that is the case. So altogether we have 4 cups, close, 4 cups of cranberries that were juiced, and this is just the pulp of them. Boil, boil, toil in trouble. And it was frozen for a while until I figured out what to do with them. I've added 2 cups of sugar and 2 packs of pectin. We're just going to get this warm. I don't want it to the point where it's going to burn or stick or start to really bubble hard. I just want it to get warm. I want to try to some degree to kind of burn off some of the liquid that's in there. And I did add some water to because I was concerned about it sticking, and I'm just going to try to burn that off with this heat. So when I get this done, I'll get back with you. Alright, so I can see that when I stop stirring a little bit, that it starts to steam up and bubble a little bit, which is what I'm wanting. I just want to get it a little bit hot. I have not stopped stirring this the whole time. That's very important, I think, because I definitely don't want the bottom to stick and burn, because that would really give this a bad flavor. And I can hear and feel the bubbling of it on the bottom as I stir it. So we're going to give this a few more minutes, and then we will move over to the trays. So I'll get right back with you. Alright, so I have 3 trays, little cookie pans with parchment paper sitting on them. And all I'm going to do is, let's move this over here. I'm just going to place a bit of this nice steamy batter, if you want to call it, onto these trays. Go with 2. Yeah, that'll work. And then I'm just going to spread it out. Now, as I said, this is kind of thick. Thick as in chunks. It's chunky. It's chunky. It looks like we're going to go with 3. There we go. And we're going to spread that out just like so. Oh yeah, that looks good. Alright. Just like this. I'm going to do those, and then we're going to stick them in the oven. So let's get the second one going. I made this one a little bit small. My bad. We'll go with 2 and see if 2 would be okay. And I might be able to get 2.5, 3. There we go. I don't really want it to run over the parchment paper, but if it does, it does. I accidentally made this one a tad bit smaller. Yeah, so we'll go with a tad bit more. There we go. That's good right there. Good. Number 2. And then I have one more. And I'm definitely going to need more than that. Let's see, here we go. 1, 2 nice heaping fulls. Let's see where we're at on that. Definitely going to need 3. There we go. Might even be able to hit 4 on there. Smooth that out. Now we're going to leave it at 3. There we go. Smooth that out. Just like so. And a little bit right there. There we go. There we go. Wonderful. We're going to do one more. Alright, so we got one more set up. This might be a little much for this one, but I'm going to start with this 2. Spread this out. Yeah, I think we'll be good. 3. Go with 1 more and 4. Smooth that out. Awesome. That's perfect. Now we have just a tad bit in here, about a half a spoon, and I'm just going to separate that amongst the others, and I'll get right back with you. Okay, so I have the oven set at its lowest setting. Is 170 degrees. So we have these 4 that are going to sit in here. Two, 3, and 4. So from here, we're just going to let them bake. I will check them periodically. My research says they should be baked for about an hour, hour and a half. I don't want them to dry out horribly, but we'll see. We'll check it probably in a half hour, then we'll check it again every 15 minutes or so after that until we get what we're looking for. So I'll get back with you. Alrighty, so the timer went off. We are going to check and see what we got here. Nope. It is definitely not ready yet. So we are going to pop another 20 minutes on there and we'll get right back with you. Okay, well, it's been an hour and a half and we're going to take a look. You know, it's still, the bottom ones are starting to firm up. The top ones, however, not quite as much. So I'm going to switch them out. Like that. And I turned the heat up to 180 about a half hour ago. I don't want it to go really any higher. I was thinking about going to 200, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to leave it at 180. And so far we're at an hour and a half. I'm going to give it another half hour and see what it looks like. Okay, well, I think this is 2 hours now. Starting to, yeah, starting to get a little bit, it's starting to be firm. I'm going to go ahead and it's not too bad. I'm not getting any. Yep. Okay. So that's 2 hours. I think it's still going to require at least another hour or so. So we'll just let it continue until I eventually figure out when I decide I want to pull it out. Okay, so they stayed in the oven a little bit longer than expected, several hours as a matter of fact. I lowered it back down to 175 a while ago, and we are going to pull them out. And oh, it smells fantastic. And yeah, they still feel a little bit, but jelly-like, I guess. But I think that's just, yeah, I think once they cool down and everything, it would be cool. I don't want them to burn, but that looks really good. Yes, absolutely. Look at that. Oh. Oh my goodness, that looks fantastic. Yes, very good, very good. So I'm going to set these up, let them just cool down for a few hours, and then I'll come back to them, and hopefully I'll be able to cut them into strips and roll them. They're on parchment paper, so it should be pretty cool. Should be easy. So when I get ready to do that, I'll get back with you guys. Okay, so I have the four, they're dry. I'm hoping I'm hoping that it's just the pectin in it that's making it kind of jello-y, and I think it is. Yeah. Nice. It's still a little wet on the bottom, so I think I'm going to have to let them sit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pair of scissors, and this parchment has lines on it that I can use to cut, just like so. And what I need to do, is turn these upside down and bake them. Need to turn them upside down and bake them. So I'm going to get another piece of parchment paper, turn these upside down, and I'm going to put them back in the oven because the bottom side of that doesn't seem to be completely dried out. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of parchment paper, put it on top, roll that out, and just lay it like that, and then I'll peel this paper off. Ooh, look at that. Just like that. Bingo. Just like so. Now, then it's going to have to go back in the oven because that's still a little wet, and it's not supposed to be wet. Bingo, bango. Alright, so it's been many hours, and I think they're okay. They're still maybe a little damp on one side or another, but I think that'll go away once they dry. Give them a day or so to actually dry, because they seem done. I don't think they're going to get any drier without burning. So we're going to give them a few days, at least until tomorrow sometime, and then we will cut them up and do a little taste on them. Okay, so they set overnight. I've just dolloped them a bit because they still kind of have a little bit of liquid, but they're good to go. Now, all I'm going to do is, this one's going to have to get new parchment paper. Hold on one second. So really all I'm going to do is take this, lay it on here, and there are lines that indicate let's go ahead and, there we go. And all I'm going to do is attempt to cut the paper along with the fruit roll up that it's going to be. Just like so. Excellent. And once I get each one of them cut up like this, I'm just simply going to roll just like such, and there we have the fruit roll up. I'll probably get some kind of cordage and tie those up so that they don't just fall around, but regardless, real quick, since we're here, and I got the camera going, there we go. We're going to cut that piece off, and we're going to give this a, roll that back up. We're going to give this a taste. Alright, so here we go. Now, again, these are cranberries, but when we added sugar to them, it tasted very, very much like cherry. So, here is the fruit roll-up. Let's give it a taste and see what it tastes like. It still tastes very, very much like, there is some cranberry taste there, absolutely, but it does kind of have a cherry taste to it. They're not leathery like a fruit roll-up or something. These are still a little chewy inside. I like it. So I'm going to give this to Michelle and see what she thinks. Alright.
You know I'm scared, right? I don't like eating new things.
You can taste the cranberry. You don't like it?
I don't like the texture. The flavor isn't bad. The texture's not okay.
Okay.
You can... Ooh. The cranberry gets stronger the longer you
It does. The longer you chew it, the more cranberry it tastes.
The flavor is actually really fun.
Yeah.
It's the texture.
The texture gets you?
Can't get the texture.
Okay.
Love you, though.